the secret message engraved inside his wedding band, and why it revealed the love story that sustained him through the darkest moments of leadership. Walter Reed Army Medical Center, Washington, D.C., September 24, 1955. 2:14 a.m. The operating room is sterile white, under harsh fluorescent lights, filled with the quiet efficiency of medical professionals preparing for cardiac surgery on the President of the United States. Paul Dudley White, the nation's leading cardiologist, scrubs methodically while nurses arrange surgical instruments with practiced precision. In 4 hours, they will perform a procedure that could either save or end the presidency. On the operating table, unconscious under anesthesia, lies Dwight D. Eisenhower. At 64, his face shows the lines carved by commanding D-Day, leading NATO and managing Cold War tensions that could destroy civilization at any moment. Tonight, his body has betrayed the will that conquered Nazi Germany. A massive heart attack has brought the most powerful man on earth to the edge of death. Mamie Eisenhower sits in the family waiting area, her hands clasped so tightly her knuckles have gone white. Married to Ike for 39 years, she has waded through countless military deployments, political campaigns, and presidential crises. But this vigil is different. This time she might lose the only man she's ever loved to an enemy that can't be defeated with strategy or determination. As the surgical team begins final preparations, something unexpected happens. Dr. White notices that the president's wedding ring, a simple gold band worn continuously for nearly 4 decades, has become loose on his finger due to the weight loss and fluid changes accompanying his heart attack. The ring that has never left his hand, that survived World War II and presidential campaigns, now slides easily toward his knuckles. "We should remove his ring before surgery," Dr. White tells the circulating nurse. "If his hands swell during the procedure, we'll have trouble getting it off later." Nurse Margaret Sullivan, a 15-year veteran of military medicine, gently slides the ring from the president's finger. It's heavier than expected, worn smooth by decades of wear, warmed by years of contact with skin that has signed documents changing the course of history. As she places it carefully in a sterile container, something catches her attention. This is exactly when everything changed. Because what Nurse Sullivan discovered inside that ring revealed a love story that had sustained a president through the darkest moments of leadership. The interior of the wedding band, polished smooth by nearly 40 years of wear, bears an engraving so fine it's barely visible. Nurse Sullivan retrieves a magnifying glass from the instrument tray and peers closely at the tiny script etched inside the gold. What she reads makes her gasp audibly enough that Dr. White looks up from his surgical preparation. "What is it, Margaret?" With tears forming in her eyes, she reads the inscription aloud. "To my Ike in Saud, through every battle, every burden, every blessing, your Mamie believes in the man you were born to be." July 1st, 1916. The operating room falls silent, except for the steady beep of monitoring equipment. July 1st, 1916, their wedding day. When a young second lieutenant married his sweetheart, before deploying to a series of military assignments that would test their marriage in ways neither could imagine. But the inscription doesn't end there. Around the interior circumference, in script so tiny it requires the magnifying glass to read, additional words appear: West Point 1915, D-Day 1944, President 1953, always my hero. Dr. White, a man who has seen thousands of medical crises and maintained professional composure through each one, finds his own eyes watering. The ring doesn't just contain Mamie's original wedding day message, she has somehow added to it over the decades, marking each major milestone in her husband's career with fresh engraving. You haven't seen the most incredible part yet, because there's more hidden inside that band. Nurse Sullivan rotates the ring under the magnifying glass, discovering that Mamie's additions continue in a spiral pattern around the interior. Each line represents a different period of their marriage. France 1918. Through your first deployment, I loved you from afar. Panama 1922. In tropical heat and loneliness, you remained my anchor. Philippines 1935. Distance cannot diminish devotion. Pearl Harbor 1941. When the world went to war, you went to save it. London 1943. While you planned to liberate Europe, I prayed for your safety. Colombia 1948. In peace, you remained my warrior for good. White House 1953, Power cannot change the man I married. The final edition, engraved in script so fresh it seems recent, reads, September 1955. Even your heart cannot defeat our love. The surgical team stares in amazement. Somehow, Mamie Eisenhower had been secretly adding to her husband's wedding ring throughout their 39-year marriage, marking each major chapter of their life together with hidden messages of love and support. The ring he wore every day, through every military campaign and presidential crisis, carried within it a constantly growing love letter from the woman who believed in him before anyone else knew his name. Wait a minute, don't miss this incredible detail, because the engineering required for these secret editions reveals the depth of Mamie's dedication. Dr. White examines the ring more closely, his medical training helping him appreciate the technical precision required for Mamie's secret project. The additional engravings showed different depths and styles, suggesting they were added over many years by different jewelers, but all executed with microscopic precision to avoid detection. She must have taken his ring while he slept. Nurse Sullivan whispers in amazement, multiple times over the decades, had new messages engraved and returned it before he woke up. The logistical complexity staggers the medical team. Mamie would have needed to remove the ring from her sleeping husband's finger without waking him. The fine skilled engravers willing to work on such a delicate piece, coordinate the timing to have the ring back before he noticed it missing, pay for the work without leaving financial records that might reveal the secret, repeat this process at least 8 times over nearly 4 decades. Each secret engraving represented not just a message of love, but an act of devotion requiring planning, risk, and perfect execution. The ring wasn't just jewelry. It was a 39-year covert operation, motivated by pure love. You won't believe what the medical team discovered next, but it showed how this secret sustained Eisenhower through his greatest challenges. As they prepare to begin surgery, Dr. White makes an unprecedented decision. Instead of storing the ring in a standard container, he asks Nurse Sullivan to place it where the president can see it immediately upon waking, assuming he survives the procedure. A man who carries that much love with him everywhere he goes, Dr. White says quietly, deserves to have it nearby when he fights for his life. The surgery proceeds for 6 grueling hours. Eisenhower's heart, damaged by years of stress and the crushing responsibility of nuclear-age leadership, requires delicate repair. Throughout the procedure, the wedding ring sits on the bedside table, its hidden messages a testament to the love that has sustained him through every previous crisis. At 8:30 a.m., as dawn breaks over Walter Reed Medical Center, Dr. White emerges from surgery with cautiously optimistic news. The president has survived the immediate crisis. His heart is beating steadily. The next 48 hours will determine whether he can resume the duties of office. When Mamie is finally allowed into the recovery room, she finds Ike unconscious, but breathing naturally, surrounded by the electronic monitoring equipment that measures his vital signs. The wedding ring sits exactly where Dr. White placed it, mist within reach, waiting for the moment when the president opens his eyes. What you've seen so far was just the beginning, because Eisenhower's reaction to discovering the secret would reveal why this love story sustained his presidency. 36 hours later, Eisenhower regains consciousness. His first coherent words are not about the presidency, foreign policy, or national security. His first words are, "Where's my ring?" Mamie, who has maintained vigil at his bedside through the entire recovery period, gently places the wedding band back on his finger. As the familiar weight settles into place, Eisenhower's expression shifts from relief to confusion. "Something's different," he murmurs, his voice still weak from surgery. "It feels different." Mamie's eyes fill with tears, but she says nothing. She can't reveal the secret now, not while he's recovering from major surgery, not when the stress might affect his healing heart. But Dr. White, understanding the emotional importance of what they discovered, approaches the bedside with the magnifying glass. "Mr. President," he says gently, "your wedding ring required cleaning during surgery. We discovered something remarkable. With your permission, I'd like to show you." With hands still shaky from surgery, Eisenhower takes the magnifying glass and examines the interior of his wedding band. As he reads the hidden messages that have traveled with him to every battlefield, every diplomatic meeting, every presidential crisis, his face transforms. The man who maintained composure during D-Day planning, who stayed calm during nuclear standoffs, who showed strength in every public moment, begins weeping openly. "Mamie," he whispers, his voice breaking. "How long?" "Since our wedding day," she admits, taking his hand. "Every time you faced something difficult, every time you carried the weight of the world, I wanted you to know that someone believed in you completely. So I kept adding to our promises." Just when the moment couldn't become more emotional, Eisenhower made a confession that revealed how much the secret meant. "I always wondered," he says through tears, "why my ring felt warm during the hardest decisions. During D-Day planning, when I had to choose between saving lives and winning the war. During the presidency, when every choice meant someone would suffer. I thought it was my imagination, but I could swear the ring felt warm against my finger during those moments." Mamie smiles through her own tears. "It wasn't your imagination, it was me, loving you through every impossible choice you had to make." The revelation transforms Eisenhower's understanding of his own strength. Every moment when he felt alone with crushing responsibility, every decision that seemed to require superhuman courage, every night when the weight of leadership felt unbearable. Margus, during all those times, he had been carrying Mamie's love and faith, literally within reach. This time the real impact came in how the discovery changed his presidency. Over the remaining years of his administration, colleagues notice a change in Eisenhower's demeanor during high-stress meetings. Previously, during intense NSC sessions or crisis briefings, he would fidget with his wedding ring, unconsciously rotating it on his finger while processing complex information. Now that same gesture takes on new meaning. He's not just fidgeting, he's drawing strength from the hidden messages of love and support. During the 1956 Suez Crisis, when Allied relationships hang in the balance, Eisenhower is observed quietly reading the inside of his ring with a magnifying glass before making the difficult decision to oppose British and French military action. The hidden message, "Power cannot change the man I married," guides him toward principled leadership regardless of political cost. During the 1957 Little Rock integration crisis, when federal troops must enforce school desegregation against violent opposition, he again consults the ring's hidden messages. Mamie's words about remaining my warrior for good strengthen his resolve to protect vulnerable children despite political pressure. But the most significant moment comes during his final months in office, in December 1960. As Eisenhower prepares to leave the presidency, he makes a decision that honors Mamie's decades of secret devotion. During his farewell address to the nation, the speech warning against the military-industrial complex. He wears the wedding ring openly, occasionally glancing at it during the most important passages. The gesture seems natural to television viewers, just a man drawing comfort from familiar jewelry during an emotional moment. But those who know the secret understand he's drawing strength from 44 years of hidden love messages that sustained him through the greatest challenges in American history. After leaving office, Eisenhower reveals Mamie's secret to their closest family members, but asks them to keep it private during their lifetimes. Some love stories, he explains, are too precious to share with the world while the lovers are still living them. In 1969, as Eisenhower faces his final illness, he makes one last request to the jeweler who had helped Mamie with her secret engravings over the decades. He asks for one final addition to the ring's interior. "To my Mamie, 53 years of hidden love made every burden bearable. Thank you for believing in me before I believed in myself." When Eisenhower dies on March 28, 1969, Mamie faces the decision of whether to bury the ring with him or keep it as her most precious memento. She chooses to keep it, adding one final message, "Until we meet again, your grateful Mamie." But the most remarkable chapter of this hidden love story was still to come. 3 weeks after surgery, as Eisenhower recovers at his Gettysburg farm, he makes a discovery that reveals the full scope of Mamie's secret devotion. While organizing his personal effects, he finds a small leather journal hidden in Mamie's jewelry box, but levelly to a record of every secret engraving operation she conducted over 39 years. The journal entries, written in Mamie's careful handwriting, document each covert mission with military precision. July 15, 1918. Deployed to Camp Galveston. Removed ring while he slept. After exhaustion from training exercises. Mr. Giuseppe, Italian jeweler on Magazine Street, engraved first edition, through your first deployment, I loved you from afar. Operation time, 6 hours. Returned ring before dawn. Ike never noticed. December 3, 1941. Pearl Harbor attack has Ike working 20-hour days. Ring removal accomplished during rare deep sleep. Mr. Chen in Chinatown completed engraving despite wartime restrictions on luxury services. New message. When the world went to war, you went to save it. Cost $12, 1 week's grocery money. Worth every penny. June 5, 1944. D-Day Eve. Ike pacing study, couldn't sleep. Finally collapsed in chair at 4 a.m. Most dangerous removal yet, he stirred twice. Emergency trip to London jeweler, who opened shop at dawn. Engraving. While you planned to liberate Europe, I prayed for your safety. Nearly discovered when he woke early, but ring was back in place. He commented it felt especially warm today. The journal reveals the extraordinary lengths Mamie went to maintain her secret. She researched jewelers in every city they lived, learned about different engraving techniques to avoid detection, even studied Ike's sleep patterns to identify the safest removal times. Most touching are her personal reflections between operational notes. Some wives send care packages or write letters. I engrave my love directly onto my husband's skin. Every time he touches that ring, he touches my heart. He carries my faith with him into every battle, every decision, every moment when he doubts himself. This is how I fight the war alongside him, not with weapons, but with words hidden where only he can find them. The technical challenges she overcame astound him. During World War II, when precious metals were rationed and jewelers focused on war production, she convinced craftsmen to work on her ring by explaining that her husband was serving overseas. Technically true, but she never revealed his identity. She paid for engravings with household money, sometimes going without groceries to afford the work. In 1950, when they moved frequently between military assignments, she developed a network of trusted jewelers across the country, each holding a piece of her secret operation but none knowing the complete story. She coordinated timing across time zones, arranged overnight shipping for the ring when Ike's schedule didn't allow local service, even learned to forge his handwriting to authorize jewelry repairs in case anyone questioned a third party handling his ring. The most dangerous operation occurred in 1953, during Eisenhower's first weeks as president. Secret Service protocols meant she couldn't leave the White House alone, and presidential schedules made predicting his sleep impossible. She solved this by arranging for a jeweler to come to the White House under cover of repairing Mrs. Eisenhower's pearl necklace. While Ike met with congressional leaders, the craftsman engraved White House 1953, "Power cannot change the man I married in a spare bedroom upstairs." But the journal's most emotional entries come from recent years, when Ike's health began declining. Marcus 1954. Ike's blood pressure dangerously high. Doctors warn about stress. Bring removal during afternoon nap. First daytime operation ever attempted. New message. Your health matters more than the world's problems. Praying he feels my concern through the gold. To September 1955. Heart attack imminent, according to Dr. Snyder's private warnings. Pre-authorized engraving with jeweler in case emergency surgery required ring removal. Message prepared. Even your heart cannot defeat our love. Pray to God I never need to use this, but a wife prepares for everything. The final entry, dated the day before his heart attack, reveals the depth of her devotion. September 23, 1955. Ike's color poor, breathing labored. He doesn't know I see his pain, but wives always know. If something happens to him, if this is our last night together, I want his final memory to be of love, not politics or problems. Spent evening just holding his hand while he read. His wedding ring caught the lamplight, and for a moment I saw all 39 years of secret messages glowing like tiny stars around his finger. Every engraving, every midnight operation, every risk I took to keep my love close to his heart. It was all worth it for moments like this. Reading Mamie's journal, Eisenhower finally understands the true extent of her sacrifice. She didn't just add messages to his ring, she spent 4 decades conducting a covert operation of love, using skills that would have impressed CIA operatives, all to ensure he never faced a crisis without knowing someone believed in him completely. The emotional impact transforms him completely. For the first time in their marriage, he fully grasps that Mamie's love wasn't passive support. It was active, strategic, sacrificial. She had been fighting alongside him all these years, not with weapons or policy advice, but with something far more powerful, unshakable faith in his character. 2 days later, Eisenhower makes a decision that honors the magnitude of her secret devotion. He calls the same jeweler who helped Mamie with her most recent engraving and commissions a matching ring for her mitas, a simple gold band with its own hidden message. But instead of adding text to the interior, he has a tiny compartment created in the band's thickness, large enough to hold a miniature scroll. On the scroll, in his own careful handwriting, he writes, "To the woman who loved me in secret for 39 years, Marcus, your covert operations of the heart sustained a grateful husband through every impossible mission. Now you wear my love as I have worn yours." Mission accomplished, Mrs. Eisenhower. When he presents the ring to Mamie on their 40th wedding anniversary, her tears make speech impossible. For 4 decades, she gave love in secret, never expecting recognition or reciprocation. Now she holds proof that her husband not only noticed her devotion, but treasured it as the foundation of his strength. The presentation ceremony takes place in their Gettysburg farmhouse, with only immediate family present. As Eisenhower slips the new ring onto Mamie's finger, he makes a speech that redefines their entire marriage. "Mamie, for 40 years I thought I was carrying the weight of our family, our country, our responsibilities. Tonight I learned that you were carrying me. Every decision I made, every crisis I faced, every moment I found courage I didn't know I possessed. It wasn't my strength, it was yours, hidden inside a simple gold band, traveling with me to every battlefield and boardroom." He pauses, his voice thick with emotion. A good soldier recognizes superior strategy when he sees it. Your 39-year covert operation to keep love alive in the middle of war and politics was the greatest military campaign I've ever witnessed. You didn't just support my missions, you were my mission. Everything I accomplished because you made me believe I was worthy of the trust others placed in me. The family gathering becomes a celebration of hidden love revealed, secret devotion acknowledged, and a marriage that sustained not just 2 people, but the nation they served together. As they sit together that evening, both wearing rings containing hidden messages of love, Mamie finally feels safe, sharing the complete truth about her secret operations. She tells him about the times she almost got caught, the jewelers who became inadvertent co-conspirators, the financial sacrifices she made, the careful planning required to maintain such an elaborate deception. "I never told you," she admits, "because I was afraid you'd make me stop. You carried such heavy burdens, I didn't want to add my love to your list of responsibilities. This way, you could receive my faith without having to manage it." Eisenhower's response reveals how completely he now understands Mamie. Love isn't a burden, it's fuel. "For 39 years you've been refueling my spirit without my knowledge. Now I understand why I never ran empty, even when the challenges seemed impossible." During Eisenhower's remaining years in office, the hidden rings become a source of private strength for both of them. In stressful moments, each touches their ring and feels the other's love across whatever distance separates them. During the final nuclear crises of his presidency, Mamie notices him rotating his wedding ring more frequently, drawing strength from her hidden messages during the moments when world peace hangs in the balance. But the most powerful testament to their secret love story comes during Eisenhower's farewell address to the nation in January 1961, as he delivers his famous warning about the military-industrial complex, the speech that defines his presidential legacy. He unconsciously rotates his wedding ring throughout the address. Television viewers assume it's nervous habit, but those who know the secret understand he's drawing strength from 45 years of hidden love messages as he delivers his final words to the American people. The gesture becomes symbolic of everything his presidency represented: strength, sustained by love, leadership grounded in human connection, power tempered by personal devotion. Even in his most public moment, he carries the private love that made his public service possible. When Eisenhower dies in 1969, Mamie faces the most difficult decision of their marriage: whether to reveal their secret love story to the world or keep it private forever. She chooses secrecy, believing that some forms of love are too sacred for public consumption. But she does make one final addition to his wedding ring before burial. Using the same jeweler who helped her for decades, she adds a final message: "Mission complete, my beloved commander. Your Mamie's love travels with you into eternity." The ring is buried with him, carrying 45 years of secret love messages into the grave. Mamie keeps her own ring, with its hidden scroll, as her most precious possession until her own death in 1979. Only then, through estate documents and the discovery of her secret journal, does the world learn about the covert operation of love that sustained an American presidency through the most dangerous decade in human history. That's how a secret love story sustained a presidency through the nuclear age, not through public displays of affection or political partnership, but through hidden messages of faith and devotion that traveled with a leader through every moment of crisis and triumph. Eisenhower's presidency succeeded not just because of his strategic mind or political skills, but because he carried constant reminders that someone believed in him unconditionally. The weight of nuclear weapons, Cold War tensions, and impossible decisions became bearable because he literally wore love on his finger. So when you face moments that require strength beyond what you think you possess, when responsibilities threaten to crush your spirit, when you need to find courage for choices that will affect others' lives, remember what Mamie's hidden messages taught her husband. Love isn't just an emotion, it's a source of strength. Faith in someone's character isn't just sentiment, it's practical support that sustains them through impossible challenges. And sometimes the most powerful love letters are the ones written in secret, carried close to the heart, discovered only when they're needed most. Eisenhower understood this. That's why a wedding ring containing 45 years of secret messages became the hidden foundation for leadership that guided America through its most dangerous decade. A president's strength came not from power or authority, but from knowing that someone loved him enough to spend 5 decades secretly adding to their marriage vows, conducting covert operations of the heart that sustained him through every impossible moment. And until now, almost no one knew that the most important love story of the Cold War was engraved inside a simple gold band, discovered by accident during surgery, sustained by a wife's secret devotion, and carried in love through every moment that shaped the modern world.